I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
podcast
on the Citadel.
You are listening to Accidentally Casual, the only nerdy gaming podcast that my mom has listened to once.
Oh, wait, your mom listens to this?
No,
That's
she
adorable.
listened to it once and she's like, okay.
Oh.
My name is Minius of Minius GC, and with me is Tucker from Talking About Games.
Hello.
And Scott from BioWare Babbling.
Sup, nerds?
So we're back, and now it's weird. I did not expect to get this much Mass Effect news as we restarted the podcast.
I want to point out, I kind of called out a decent amount of what we got today.
You did. I'm really happy that I didn't actually put any money down on the bets that I was making. Because I would have definitely lost money today. I will be 100% honest with you.
My guess last night was that there was going to be a trailer, there was going to be a behind the scenes with some devs, it was going to be a showcase of Mass Effect 1, specifically Mass Effect 1 is going to be highlighted, and we'll also get the launch date. And that was pretty, we didn't get a behind the scenes thing with devs, I don't think, but trailer, Mass Effect 1 showcased.
Well, I guess we kind of did, because we got a bunch of articles. I know, oh god, I think with the head environmental designer and Mark Gamble. And Game Informer is going to be doing an entire month of coverage on it. So,
as far as I understand, they just showed a bunch of people a 1-hour presentation, so nobody's actually played the game. But
there's gameplay footage up, right? I think I saw some things on IGN.
They did show some gameplay footage, but nobody's actually played it. None of the because they just hey, first of all, it's not entirely we're hiding something. They could be. There's a pandemic going on. There's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, that's also
you can
fair.
You can set up a kind of a cloud binging server if you want, but I don't know if that's the best way to go about things.
It's also a remaster, so I can't imagine that they would be hiding things. If it was a new Mass Effect game, they would want to keep a lot of things secret of what's the enemies, the story, all this stuff. This is a remake.
Guys,
no, but
the mass relays were made by Reapers. It's a trap.
Well,
spoilers.
Man, I got that fact wrong in one of my videos.
What?
I think I said the Prothean.
No,
Tucker, how do you dumb fuck up that bad?
Because
That's
the script
bad.
was 20-something pages long, and
Did
it was
you not-
oh no, I read through that thing multiple times, and I still missed a few things.
As you were saying it, you didn't realize that it was wrong?
Nah, not at
Because
all.
I do that all the time with my scripts.
Mm-hmm.
I write something down and then I read out loud. I'm like, that's not right at all.
Oh no, I realized it was wrong after I posted it, and I was like, well, shit.
Yeah, I haven't done that in my channel yet, but a lot of it is also I'm literally regurgitating the information off the pages into video form. So it's oh wait a minute, hold on, is this right? Oh fuck, no, that wasn't their name. Type, and then redo. So I haven't gotten to that point of utterly fucking up that bad.
The faster you try to turn around content, the more mistakes you will make.
Oh well, this wasn't turning around content. This was.
This is for Scott. This is. I'm just saying, as soon as you start going fast, you're gonna make some mistakes.
Yeah.
I went fast on yesterday's video, so we're gonna find some mistakes in there. I guarantee.
What was yesterday's video?
Theoretically, the one that I posted an hour ago.
Oh, comparing Mass Effect Legendary Edition footage to the originals.
Yeah.
And interesting other nuggets.
It's a very stark contrast because I use PlayStation 3 footage.
Yeah.
And
one thing I said this to Minius earlier, but I actually feel like his video did a better job of actually showing hey, here's how much of a market improvement this is going to be than the actual trailer did.
Yeah. And I was thinking that it might be exaggerated a little bit because I don't think anyone's got lots of Mass Effect 3 footage from a PlayStation, or just Mass Effect footage from a PlayStation.
At least not as easily readable. Probably not.
Yeah, I probably have a pretty extensive catalog of that too, so I can't imagine anyone does that because if so, they're nuts. but the PlayStation 3 has by far the worst Mass Effect footage. But that's what I had. So, so specifically the original Mass Effect, which they spent the most time on, there's a very, very stark contrast in what they've done.
They also remapped the controls. Like throwing the grenade isn't the back button anymore, which is so weird. The things that made me happy, like the UI is changing, which the one thing I really do hope that they change is, for the love of God, please change the fucking UI in Mass Effect 3. Because trying to find planets on all the little stupid side missions where you have to go scan the planets, it got to a point I just looked it up. It was like, where's that mission? Okay, it's on that planet, go. And I would do that because...
I never had a hard time with that. Huh.
Well, because... My problem was it would tell you, like, the cluster, but it wouldn't tell you, like...
That wouldn't be the UI. That would be more of quest management.
Okay, yeah. That's
that stuff. Because the UI would be the user interface. It'd be the thing kind of displayed and shown to you, but the quest management is pretty bad, where it'll tell you, go...
that was kind of a messy.
And not just that, but it's also not even... Like, you just have all missions in one plop area.
Thank God that we have a professional developer here, ladies and gentlemen, to correct my ass.
Oh, no, I am not a professional developer.
Okay, you're more professional than us. Deal with it.
You currently have a contract with a real gaming company.
I've had a few contracts.
But you have one at this very second that they don't let you complete.
Yeah, pandemic's fun.
Yeah, but the mission, I hated the mission system in Mass Effect 3, just because it would never tell you the specific planet, or even, like... There was, like, the clusters that you would originally fly to, and then when you would, like, control the mouse and, like, control the Normandy flying around, and, like, going to those subsections, it still wouldn't tell you. And, I hated it so much.
I also love the idea, whenever you went to new clusters or things like that the Reapers would chase you, but you could honestly just dip out of that for a second and go back in, and you're all good.
Did you ever end up going through there and you like attract the Reapers and you just go around in circles?
Yeah, and then if they touch you, it's like game over. But then they just put you right back at the cluster.
How are these Reapers wiping everybody out in the galaxy? They're so stupid.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. I've had what I would do where it's like, oh fuck, I was in the wrong sector. I would just let the Reapers take me. Like, okay, they'll put me out in the right spot. Just here, come, take me, bitch.
Yeah.
So I think that Mass Effects 2 and 3 will be almost untouched.
No, they will be touched. They'll
be polished. They're going to, I believe, specifically the textures and stuff is upgraded up to 16 times over. But other than that, as far as, UI tweaks, gameplay tweaks, I think they're doing some weapon management as far as trying to balance those. But other than that, the stuff's going to be pretty untouched.
So they're getting rid of that infinite ammo thing from Mass Effect 1, is my guess.
No,
they're keeping it?
Of course they are.
It's going to be interesting.
That would piss people off. Oh,
Why?
Man.
I would prefer it to be more uniform.
I'm aware that you would prefer it that way, but people love that for some reason. I mean, if that's your kind of gameplay...
I actually don't think they're going to change anything because they've addressed it in-game. Like, the shift in between going to thermal clips is like, no, this is an in-universe thing.
There's a lore explanation for it?
Yeah, so, so anyone hoping that they've changed anything to the story, they haven't touched the story at all. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't touched the infinite ammo.
It's just like, it's such a cheese kind of thing that if you got a strong enough weapon, because you could also have like an infinite money glitch where you could buy stuff from one vendor and turn around and sell it to another vendor for more money. And
but then a cow takes all your money, so it evens out.
Pie jack.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I hope.
Right, so
the 50 cow is going to be a thing in there.
You guys dove into the all the reveals. Then you're pretty up to date on the stuff.
Yeah, I've done the reveals. I've looked at a lot of the articles.
Should we go over what we thought was most interesting and most important out of all of them because I'm going to assume people listening to us did not do that because they have lives. Although they're listening to us, so maybe okay.
Who the hell knows? We're
I like
all
the
just
release
a bunch
date.
of nerds, and it's great.
I like the release date too. I was
Although it's a
very
bit
excited
later.
about that.
Than we were expecting. It's May, mid-May.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I remember when Casey Hudson did his blog, and he said, like, we've been working on, the remaster for months. I went, ooh, months. I don't like that word. I would prefer a little bit more time, please. And while it would be nice to have it sooner, the fact that they are, giving that extra 2 months, I think is going to be really big.
That was more along the lines of the last few BioWare games have been pushed out right at a specific date to meet a financial date. And it's not been, the results have not been good from the product side of it. That doesn't mean that this one's going to work out, but remaster's less intensive than a real game. I mean, I expect it doesn't take anywhere near as long a remaster game as it does to create one from scratch. So months isn't necessarily.
I mean that's kind of dependent.
Yeah, but what
think
they did, they use the same engine basically, right?
I would say
Unreal
overall
3.
it's easier, but yeah.
They used the same engine. They used and they didn't change the assets to the engine, and they used an artificial intelligence to go over all of the textures and stuff and up-res them, and then they went over them by hand after that. It doesn't seem like there were a ton of resources available for this. Is this one? It's not EA's first remaster, but it's one of them, right? Because they used to refuse to do that.
Yeah, they did the
straight
Need
up.
for Speed remaster, and they remastered the wrong one. I mean, out of all the Need for Speeds they pick, they redo the 2010 one, or whenever that one came out, not like some of the Need for Speed Underground or any of those.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Need for Speed.
I played like one.
I played a couple minutes of one. I'm like, nah, that's okay.
It's a fun game. You can play as police or as racers, and like you have different objectives.
That was a specific one, right?
Yeah. The other one's like Forza.
No, I mean a specific Need for Speed. Whatever. We're
there's
dipping
a few
into
of them.
We're dipping into a topic that I have no knowledge on.
Fair.
So
Yeah, there's a bunch of different Need for Speeds, but anywho. Yeah, no, I know Command and Conquer got remastered.
It did. The first Red Alert.
Yep.
how long ago were those?
Red Alert 1 was it was before. I know it's before 9/11 because Red Alert 2.
No, I mean the
part
remasters.
of it has
the remasters.
9/11 in it. The remaster was last year, I think. But
yeah, they're
the
all
original
recent. Right?
one came out 1996.
Something else that's interesting and is going to matter for a lot of people. There is a consistent FemShep model now that runs through all three games. Because apparently the male shepherd was based off an actual dude.
Mm-hmm.
And FemShep they kept on tweaking, and now they have one that goes all the way. In fact, the character creator is all the way through for all of them. So they're matched up. So you don't have to re-customize a character, and those characters get weird, man.
So you can have you have the same customization options across all three of them.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if you can get as weird as you could with Andromeda. Because Andromeda, you could either make some of the most gorgeous characters, or you could just make monstrosities. There's no in between. You're making a monster, or you're making someone gorgeous.
What I really want to do, and I don't know if there's going to be, and I wish a game would do this, they have the default face, right? So they put a lot more work into that. I want to be able to just drop a mustache on male shepherd. Just a creepy looking mustache and go with that.
Yeah, wait,
Like
there's
a
no
pencil
facial
mustache?
There's no facial hair in Mass Effect's customization, is there? Is there an option to give Shepard a beard or anything?
No, I mean I haven't actually screwed around with it because I tried it once and the character I created was so disgusting that I didn't want to do that ever again.
Nice.
It was awful. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, he looks like he was left out in the sun after being dead for 3 days.
Oof.
Yeah.
I know one thing seeing with the character creator, though, I just saw a video on Twitter with Jennifer Hale reacting to the trailer. Like, she was ugly crying. She absolutely loved it, and she was super proud that FemShep was being shown. But yeah, she was ugly crying that whole time.
That's good.
I mean, they do show both male Shep and FemShep, but it's almost every single face shot is FemShep, and you see the back of a male Shep's head.
I didn't even notice that they swapped. Well, I mean, I did notice it with that, but I didn't comprehend that they were swapping between. I was just like, oh, shot. Oh, another shot. Oh, I remember that scene.
They were really, really, really quick shots.
Yeah.
And the longest they stayed on anything was about 3 seconds, and most of them were less than 2.
My favorite was
I know
the
that
slow...
specifically by trying to find the specific 2 seconds and matching them up in my video. That was a lot harder than I wanted it to be.
Yeah, the stills, seeing some of the still images and then comparing the two, that's where you can really see the difference. Oh, this is what they've added. But yeah, just those, there were so many just quick shots, you really couldn't get a good gauge.
Something that made me a bit happy was the slow motion shot of Shepard pulling out the Omni Blade is him killing Kai Ling.
That was a female, by the way, dude.
Oh, was I just saw the blade.
Eat it! You don't know what's going on in your own videos.
It was a trailer. What do you mean? And it's zoomed in on the back. I can't tell the characters.
Yeah, you can.
Can you?
Well, all that matters is
you don't get curves from a male Shep, man.
You know what Shepard's working with.
Yeah, rock hard
I feel
body.
like we do, but yeah, I feel like we do know at this point.
Well,
what matters is it's a clip of Kai Lang dying, and thank God Kai Lang dies again.
Well, they did a good job of not showing his face too, which is interesting.
Well, because that is kind of a spoiler. Of
Kai Lang, by
dies.
the way, way better in the books than in the game.
Oh,
way better.
Wasn't there a thing that it would have made
this-
more sense if they swapped Kai Ling with Edie or something like that?
That would change
I
the
wouldn't
story,
say,
right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. And yeah, Kai Lang in the books, especially which one is it? Crap, I have my books over there.
How many Mass Effect books are there? There's 3 of them, right? 3 or 4?
There's 3 from
No.
Carpiscian,
Okay.
Yeah,
and then there's some other ones.
you have the 3 that Drew wrote. You have another one that's kind of meant to be a sequel of that trilogy, which is hated by the community. And then you have 3 books about related to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Kai Lang, they introduced him as a dude who killed a Krogan with just a knife.
Yeah.
And you're like, and that's almost impossible. You're like, wow, that's...
Would he be sleeping?
No, I mean, in a fight.
Yeah,
They killed him with just a knife, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. So,
the Krogan's dying, you're not supposed to do that.
No, I mean,
It's
dude, the Krogans have, crazy thick skin and backup organs.
Like an alligator.
And they,
You can't really stab an alligator.
a little bit worse than an alligator. There's just, you're not meleeing a Krogan to death at that range, basically, and he did it. That's his thing.
For the people who have read the books, Krogan in the books and Krogan in the games are 2 very different things. Pretty much, a Krogan should be a boss-level boss fight every single time you fight one.
Oh.
And if you think about all the Krogan that you have fought in the games, yeah.
Yeah, I think
That shouldn't...
depends a lot on the weapons. I think every time a Krogan pops up, none of the characters are prepared. From what I remember, you've probably read the books a lot more than I have.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to dip way back into my memory on it.
I'm just remembering in Mass Effect 1 where the Krogans would trip and then they would have that full invulnerability moment, but they're on the ground, you're just shooting them stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down.
Yeah.
By the way, enemy AI in Mass Effect 1 is now better. Along with squad AI.
God. Yes.
Well, I mean, they said it was. This is. I don't think anyone's really tested it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. We'll see. I mean, I also feel especially with Mass Effect 1, it's going to be one of those games, once you start playing it, you realize how much of it of an improvement it is, but you really don't need to improve that much to make it better. To make it leagues better.
Yeah, get those low-hanging fruits, and it can definitely change a lot of people's view of the game and their enjoyment of it. And
oh yeah, for sure.
At this point, if the game is done well, it's going to do nothing but positive things for the franchise, which has been a while since it's had positive things. So
yeah, it's definitely something that needs. I think even especially for the Mass Effect community, that's just any sort of positivity is going to be wonders.
So should I just go over some more stuff?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
You can now skip the elevators.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
in
I
Mass
heard
Effect
about
1.
that.
Well, apparently it's optional too. Like it'll give you the option to skip this, but otherwise you can just sit there and listen to the conversation. Some of those are funny.
Oh God,
I will not be skipping them.
Yeah, the banter's great on them.
After a few playthroughs, I might start skipping it just to get through the elevator.
How many playthroughs are you doing?
Depends on how many I need to get the achievements.
Okay.
The original Mass Effect one,
you needed
required
to have at least 3, right?
At least 4.
4?
Is I think what it is.
You couldn't do it with 3? If you budgeted your playthroughs, you could do it with 3, right?
Yeah, I think you can if you do it with 3. But wait, do difficulties stack in Mass Effect 1?
I believe you. From what I remember, you had to beat it to unlock the next one anyway. So
yeah.
So you can only start off on a certain level, and then you have to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's gonna absolutely nail me on that if I'm wrong, but that's what my memory is telling me.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I never played Insanity because I prefer not to.
Insanity
hate myself
with Mass Effect 1 is honestly not that bad. With the infinite ammo, and if you just redo one of your earlier saves or playthroughs,
I did it from
do
scratch.
a New Game Plus.
I did it from scratch.
Nah,
that was fun.
Ain't got time for that. I'm just getting the achievement.
If you want to do it from scratch, you just go to all the planets and pick up junk on the planets, and that's how you level up.
Oh yeah.
If you don't, that one Krogan when you get Liara will wreck your face.
Mm-hmm.
You got no shot.
Yeah, that's the big thing with me doing it. I don't want to deal with that Krogan that you talked about, Minius, or like the final mission in Mass Effect 3 when you had to fight the onslaught of Banshees coming your way. Just like, no, not today. I don't want to deal with that shit.
Mass Effect 3 had enough of a skill improvement that you could get through a lot with not very much if you played it enough. Of course,
yeah,
do you have 500 hours to drop into it? You don't? Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Sadly, no. I don't even think back. I think like, oh, well, maybe while I was going back to school, I could have done it. And I'm like, no, I couldn't have.
That is, so there are some kind of big no's, and some of them are more bummers than others. One that was going to be very obvious, there's going to be no new story content at all.
Yeah, that's...
which would have been a big surprise, I think, if there was.
So, one thing I will say, this may tip me off a little bit on when it comes to the Mass Effect 3 ending, I'm wondering if they will just say it's non-canon.
No, they're just doing the extended edition, unless they're being secretive about it.
Well, yeah. Well, no. What I'm going to say is just they're going to do a press announcement of, by the way, the ending of Mass Effect 3 is no longer canon. We will not be accounting for it. Like blah 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 blah.
Wouldn't you take? I guess.
But not change it, like not change the ending, not actually go into the game and actually...
You just say that didn't actually happen?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that...
For every single playthrough?
Well, that's what they did with Dragon Age Origins, was they didn't go in and change the endings at all. They just said, oh, okay, we maybe have made these endings a little too far-reaching. We're just going to say the endings for Dragon Age Origins, they're not canon anymore. And when we go forward making games, we're not going to mess with them.
Well, it seems more like BioWare has picked a canon ending, which is the Destroy ending.
Yeah, that's what it
Possibly.
looked. But again, it could be something. It potentially could be something completely different. I don't
It could
think
be,
they
yeah.
should do that. But
Yeah.
Wait, that they should do something different, or that they should?
no, they'll just be like, oh, guess what? Shepard took out his eyeball and threw it at the Reaper Child, and the Reaper Child fainted, and all the Reapers died.
What?
And you're like, whoa!
What?
And then like the rest of the Mass Effect 4, you're playing with Shepard with one eye and like this weird eye patch.
He's a pirate now.
He's a pirate Shepard. You're like, oh my god.
Okay, alright, I'll be honest, I was expecting that from Tucker. I was not expecting that from you.
This is the problem, is that I on not much sleep and I'm drinking a Red Bull as we speak, and I become dumber.
Oh,
Now
it
you
goes
know my
through.
secret.
So Tucker is going to be the sane
sleep
one on the show.
deprivation and
Sorry.
caffeine.
Sorry. This is my favorite
Yeah.
videos, is the one where I drink a bunch of caffeine and then go around at a video game conference.
Oh,
I
Jesus.
enjoyed the shit out of those. Nobody
Sounds
else
fun.
did. But I love those videos. It's basically like everyone's like, "Are you drunk?" You're like, "No, I just drank a couple Red Bulls and went nuts."
Oh, Jesus.
So,
Anyway.
no new story content, no Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
Although
was
they already
expected.
said that, right?
yeah.
No, that nothing was said. That was
Oh.
definitely
Rumored.
the guy who first leaked it said there was no multiplayer. So the
Yeah.
multiplayer rumor has been around as long as the official rumor, or it's not official. Rumors aren't official as long as the game's been talked about.
I thought they confirmed it though after the initial
No,
trailer for the.
They didn't say there wasn't any. They just didn't mention it at all.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So they
Which-
they left the door open a little bit and they closed it today.
And
Which reading...
it makes sense that they don't have
yeah.
the multiplayer. It's server maintenance and all that stuff. It was fun,
Yeah,
but
they
Yeah.
had some weird excuses for it, like saying, "Oh, you absolutely have to have crossplay." I'm like, "No, you don't." But there were other apparently, according to Mac Walters, and this is important, it would have taken them just as long to redo all of that as it would have for redoing all of Mass Effect 1. So if you're going to spend your assets properly, the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer is absolutely last on your list. And I'm saying that
Yeah.
as a guy who played like 1,000 hours of that. Still,
Yeah.
that should be last on your list. So that's what they did.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
It makes sense. I think you can definitely tell, like, I read that interview. You can tell that they're a little heartbroken about it. Like, we didn't want to make that decision, but, we only have so much time, so much money. We had to cut that out.
I suppose there's an outside shot that if this game, the remaster, absolutely blows up, sells like 5-6 million copies, then they'll say, "Huh, maybe we should do that." It's not like they need the main team to be working on that.
they
Well,
can
one
add
thing-
it back in later as well.
Well, a crack theory of mine that they might do is that if it were to blow up like that, I'm wondering if they might make the Mass Effect multiplayer its own separate thing and make it free to play.
They absolutely should.
Like,
Although it needs a lot of tweaks. There's an eventual video coming from me about that where I won't shut up about it, and people were like, "Dude, I don't care." Those are the best
I care.
videos.
Do you know what? I care, Minius. So
You do about the multiplayer?
I mean, like,
The
no, I
multiplayer
said
is
I
fun.
cared about your opinion, not necessarily.
Well, the cool
Clearly,
thing
the
is,
multiplayer.
I think we're gonna have to bust that out again.
Yes.
Yeah,
I spent time digging up my Xbox and all my cables and recording stuff. So, because I got all my stuff on other consoles, like I said, PlayStation 3. That
Can we
footage is
also
so
play
bad.
on PC as well?
Yes, but you need mods to use the controller. So I jumped in there from playing, hundreds and hundreds of hours with a gamepad, and oh my god, I suck so bad. I was so embarrassed, I quit immediately.
That's good.
I was so
Gotcha.
embarrassed. I was like,
Okay.
no,
Great.
I'm not bad at this game. I'm not. I swear.
There's a thing that if you bought Mass Effect 3 on Steam, like within a certain time period between like now and when the game launches or the Legendary Edition launches, I think you get the Legendary Edition discounted.
Ooh.
I think there's a thing of that. Like if you've recently
I-
bought Mass Effect 3 on Steam, the Legendary Edition is discounted.
Oh.
I mean, the Legendary Edition looks like it's going to be $60, which I think is going to annoy some people.
But if someone
how
like
much of a
recently, I think it was like 13% or something like that if you bought Mass Effect 3, because it's just one of them. It doesn't include Mass Effect 1 or Mass Effect 2. It's just like, oh, you bought Mass Effect 3. Well, here's
I
some
so
discount.
badly wanted to impress you with my math right there by being able to do that offhand. I could not do it.
Of what? 13% of 60?
Yeah, that's a little under $8. I had to use my calculator.
Yeah, it would be what, $7.20?
So you would not have saved money, basically. No, it's $7.80.
Damn, I was doing that in my head.
But that was very good. That was way better than I was going to do. So you win that round.
Cool.
Well,
Here's the thing that bums me out the most that's not being worked on. There is no specific next generation version, or I guess current generation at this point, the Series X and S and the PlayStation 5, and they're not planning to upscale it for that. It's just going to be the previous generation's version.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's unfortunate,
I
but I think that's kind of fine. Like,
No,
they're
I don't
working
think
on,
so at all.
They're working on the
well,
new
they're
Mass
saying that
Effect.
it's going to be reverse compatible. They're saying it's reverse
Yeah,
compatible.
you can play it,
but
a lot of games, even the ones that have come out, like for instance, just recently, Jedi Fallen Order has got a patch to up-res it on the modern consoles, and it's awesome.
Well,
And
yeah,
they're
but
not going to do that, and I'm like, oh, come on.
well, Jedi Fallen Order is still a newer game. This is a remaster, so it's kind of fine if they don't upscale it as much, especially when they're working on a new Mass Effect game.
Tucker,
Like,
I
that effort
declare
can
you
go there.
wrong.
Well, I mean, probably.
You were outright wrong. The thing I was most bummed about is it's not going to have DualSense support, but that was going to be a long shot anyway.
yeah, fair.
And also, I don't know how many people actually care about that because you have to have your hands on that specific controller and the console. Still hard to get those, right? Not everyone's dying.
I think there is something I saw of like PlayStation 5 was restocked in Japan, and there was like a major mob people.
Oh,
trying
like
to
a
get
riot?
It.
Yeah.
I don't think it grew to a
Let's
riot.
call it a
but there was
riot.
a lot of people in there.
No, they had to break it. There were too many people. I remember that. Probably not a riot. They were
Still have
probably
no
polite.
idea about Xbox. Like,
Yeah. Well, speaking of at least Japan, it looks like it's not coming out on the Switch either.
Yes, it is
Which-
not coming out on the Switch.
were you expecting it to come out on the Switch?
No, but I do find it odd that they mention that, and
Were you expecting them to pull a switcheroo?
All right, we're muting Tucker's microphone for the next minute. So Scott and I have to carry the show.
All right, let's do this.
I don't know what to say now.
Yeah.
You've been muted. This is not going out over the air. I'm aware of
Actually, I don't know if that's the worst part. Is if we can hear him, but everyone else can. I feel like we're just taking an L for the team here.
that. I agree. I think we're taking an L for the team. I'm going to turn his mic back on. Tucker, you there?
Yeah. And the thing
Okay.
is, too, is I was talking that entire time,
I
and
know.
y'all were replying to it. And
Yeah,
you
I
realized,
don't. You know what? I don't know how I'm going to edit that together. I'm probably going to cut the whole thing.
oh, you're no fun.
Yeah.
Maybe
I've
it'll be
just
at the end of the
noticed though
show.
they just do notice though that I have noticed that they always make it maybe not a big deal, but they always bring up the fact like, oh yeah, it's not going to be on Switch.
That's because
Which-
people do ask.
Yeah.
There are
Did-
quite a few people with Switches out there.
Is it coming
yeah.
out on the
80
Stadia?
million.
One of them.
Is it coming out on the Stadia, or will the Stadia even still be around by the time this game comes out?
Wait,
None
Stadia
of
is
that
still a
was the
thing?
Well, you see, Stadia's still a thing. Kind of. Maybe. Not really.
Barely on its last legs.
Didn't
Oh,
they
yeah.
shut down all their studios in the last
It's-
couple of days?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because that's what I worked on at Bungie was the Stadia port for it, as well as Shadowkeep's DLC. So
Ouch.
I have a controller and stuff like that for Stadia because it wasn't a console or anything. And I still have all that stuff, but yeah, it didn't work out that well.
It's not quite ready, in my opinion, for them to go there.
Which is a shame because Google does this they do this a few times where they have this remarkable piece of technology. Like streaming games is where the gaming industry is going. Xbox and PlayStation are working on things with that right now where you just stream the game rather than having to install it. It's just Google didn't keep up with it. They You know, they had some few
Yeah.
things at launch.
It's
but,
incredibly hard to break into that market now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
I
also
just-
had Google Glass, which was augmented reality. And that was another thing. Really fucking cool. The trailers for it were awesome. They had Minecraft. You could play Minecraft with augmented reality. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I've
There
not
were
heard
people
anything
being
of Google
assaulted in
Glass.
bars near me for wearing those because people thought they were being spied on. So there were other reasons for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
will
very
say, though,
like it's a very West Coast thing. Like, oh my God, you're. Anyway,
you're spying on me. Everyone in Washington D.C. Oh, what's up, FBI? How you doing?
Pretty much. I do like how people are like, oh, you know, I don't want the government to track me or anything like that, as they type
I will-
on their phone about it. Like,
I put it on Facebook.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to be
Facebook.
monitored. Good
Yeah,
job,
at
dude.
this point, I really don't care because it's like, well, I have like 30 companies that already have all of my information already. I'm already fucked. So, might as well just enjoy the benefits that they're giving me for it.
I'm assuming we missed something on the remaster, but there's
Yeah.
it's a little bit more than just a remaster, but it is
Yeah.
pretty close to just a paint job.
Yeah, well, it's and I think the comparison that Shinobi did was like, it's not the Halo 2 anniversary.
God, the Halo 2 anniversary is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, but you know, like it's a market improvement, but it ain't no Halo 2 anniversary, which
And
I think that's also, which I guess in the marketing side of it also kind of makes sense on why, like for me, it didn't feel like it, like, okay, is this a market improvement or not? Because it's not like with the graphics comparison between Halo 2 and the remaster of it are leaps and bound difference versus this is much more of an update. And
yeah.
in my opinion, they did this so and then like, okay, you guys can now play our game on modern consoles.
Yeah.
And just have a lot of like good quality of life stuff.
Which is kind of what the Master Chief Collection was, but it is also one of the staple series for Microsoft. It is their big boy right there, Master Chief.
It makes sense that they would throw a lot of money at it versus, you know, not just in Mass Effect just isn't quite up to that fame, which nothing wrong with that, but
What would be cool though, I doubt at all this is going to happen, but what the Master Chief Collection does, you can hit the back button and you can swap between graphics, like the old engine and the new engine. I don't think you'll be able to do that on Mass Effect.
Oh, I do that all the time. It's great.
Yeah, I
Just
doubt
going
you'll be
back
able to
and
do
forth.
anything like that.
That's so cool
Yeah.
though with Halo 2, like mid cutscene, just swap the graphics.
Mhm.
You're watching. Oh, it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I don't know of any other game companies out there that have tried doing that, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not common, right?
No.
The old engine on top of the other one?
No, I
don't
mean
think
having
so, actually.
yeah, my experience with remasters is not extensive
Yeah.
because I have to really like the game to want to buy it again, and
Yeah,
even then, it's not always the case. So
Mm-hmm.
I like remaster. I like getting remasters of games that I've gotten all the achievements in, so I can get the achievements again. Like,
Well,
You're just an
they
achievement
got
junkie
you
at
from
this
there.
point, aren't you?
well, yeah, I like achievements, but like Modern Warfare got all
your
the achievements in that,
achievements
and then
aren't real.
well, you know,
Hey,
It can't
it's
be.
not like our education system has given us, you know, made us really dependent on making sure we achieve things, right?
oh, I just like the little blip in the noise. It's like a little. Boop. I'm like, yes, get that little bit of serotonin.
I was about to say that. Just your little serotonin.
Yeah, get that hit.
So I'm super glad that this is now settled because I don't like. There were just all rumors and guesses and stuff like that. And now we're like,
Yeah.
all right, now we have a date.
Oh well, I mean, just wait until the next Mass Effect game.
I will.
I
say,
will.
Though,
It's going to be a while. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. I
Unless
posted this,
unless it comes out 3 days from now, we're like, what?
Yeah, I posted this in like the Discord. The one thing I will say, my theory is on this is that the leaks have been 100% intentional, and instead of trying to do a more conventional marketing scheme, they're trying to use, essentially instead of the blame being put on like, oh, well, BioWare's hyping us up, they're trying to do it through these...
They're letting the
leaks.
community hype themselves up through this idea of leaks, rumors. Could this be true? If it is, what could build from it? What could it be like?
Bingo. I honestly think that's what their marketing approach is that they're trying to go about it that way.
There's nothing better to sell to a person than their own imagination.
Yeah.
You give a person an idea and you don't actually tell them what it is, and they will create something in their head better than anything you could ever do yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what horror does, where they never show the villain or anything like that, and it's scarier that way because you don't know what it is that's getting them or all this stuff. And same thing with all this other.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think that these are I don't think these are traditional leads because, especially in the fact of, I think ever since the Jason Schreier reports, where 28 BioWare employees broke NDA to talk about the dirty laundry of BioWare. I would not be surprised if BioWare shut that shit down and was like, hell no, we're not having fucking leaks again. If leaks are coming out, it's going to be on our own terms.
Well, so sometimes with game companies, Microsoft does this, EA does it, a lot of big companies will do this, where they will subcontract out to smaller companies for testing or to do certain things that may need to be done, like texture uprising, any of that stuff. And so they'll outsource it. And sometimes the person that's in the outsource will leak it. And that is much more difficult to keep track of, because if a person leaked Mass Effect, the new Mass Effect, if they released leaked news on it, Bungie or BioWare may not be able to react properly to it because it was some subcontract who they may get fired. The contract company will fire them.
100% would get fired.
But it's much more difficult, I guess, to keep track of.
Yeah, well, and I know
some of
one thing.
Some of the leaks would be like, "Oh, I was testing this game," or you'll see a lot of them are QA testers with the leaks, and that's because that is one of the things that is more commonly outsourced or testing. There are some companies that are in the gaming industry that are specific for outsourced testing.
Yeah, I remember months ago reading it was supposedly a QA tester who posted on Reddit hey, here are the changes that they are going to be doing for this remaster. I probably need to read through it again to see are they spot on or not. It sounded like it was a little bit more of a remake than it was a remaster, but I also think you've probably experienced this as yourself, Tucker. When it comes to actually writing down what it takes to actually make a game, make a game or remaster a game, it probably is very overwhelming on paper. And sounds like you're doing a hell lot more than just making everything pretty.
You typically, when you're working on a game project, you create a GDD, a game design document, that is every single aspect of what the game is going to be. And that is a living document. It consistently gets updated, changed, and everything like that, from concept to even post-launch. It'll still continuously be updated.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of Word documents and Excel spreadsheets and stuff when it comes to making games. There's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, though, I'm wondering how much they are going to be changing their marketing strategies from now on, because
Injeffable was on the Discord asking,
What?
Given what's gone wrong with Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem, do you want periodic press releases from BioWare updating fans on their progress with the next Mass Effect game? If so, how frequent would you want those updates to be? This is a related question. That's why I interrupted you.
Why, hi there, Minius. Man, I didn't hear you for a minute or two. I was about to get on and be like, Minius, you there, buddy?
You guys were talking about stuff that I was like, all right, you're going. Cool.
Minius went to the bathroom.
Okay. No, I was here.
No.
Yeah, okay. I was just like,
I hope I didn't go to the bathroom. Yep, I'm good.
I kept on like checking Discord, and I was just like, is he like talking? Is the green light going? But I'm not hearing anything. Oh no.
Well, I was looking for more stuff.
Okay, so
I
read
was
off
waiting
that
to jump in
question
like
again.
that.
Please read that question one more time, because you just blurting out of nowhere totally scared the shit out of me.
I don't think that they really need to do much advertisement or stuff with this remaster, because it's a
He's
remaster.
talking specifically about the next game.
Okay.
But yeah.
So
we're talking about marketing and whether or not it's good to consistently update people. I think the strategy they've taken so far with this Legendary Edition of being really quiet about it and then just going is the way to go, as opposed to slowly leaking, because they don't have the reputation to build up positivity over, the course of a couple months. I don't think they're capable of that until they put out some good games.
I mean, how about Bethesda doing Fallout 4? If you remember, like, they announced it, and then I think it came out a month or something later. It was really quick.
You'd want to try something like that.
There was one video game console that came out on, like,
the day it was announced?
Yeah, they
Didn't
announced
it die?
it. I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an example of what not to do, kids. That's a little too soon.
Well, it was also in competition with, like, the PS2 and other things like that, too. And it's like, you're not competing with that.
I think Jeff is going to get his answer with Dragon Age 4.
So
we're going to find out what they do there, and it'll be similar.
I can actually somewhat answer that a little bit.
Okay.
So Jeff, if you want to get that type of stuff where you're kind of getting updated, go onto Twitter and look.
He's
look
just asking for the official what he thinks they're going to do.
So the new head of Dragon Age, his name is Christian Daly. He was originally at BioWare. He was the head of of Anthem 2.0. And his big thing was every week he would always release a new bit of concept art. Screenshot. One of the biggest thing of content that he did, it's been a while, but he talked about like how like he showed off like little game clips of what
someone mentioned that in the Reddit right after that was asked.
Yeah,
but I don't think that's specifically what he's talking. I mean, I'm talking about like official updates. So I assume your little tiny stuff like that might not register to anybody, especially the larger gaming community.
Well, and that's also another thing as well, is some of this stuff is you kind of have to dig to find it. Like with Christian Daly with his big, like he
that
did
would
an
that
entire
would not be
blog
marketing in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, he did an entire blog article on the loot and how they want to change the loot. That was on BioWare's own blogging page.
I would love it if he confirmed they were still doing that.
Anthem 2.0?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that exists anymore.
What do you? It exists. Wait, do you think they just stopped making Anthem 2.0?
I don't know. They definitely stopped talking about it.
Yeah,
they also haven't
that
talked
was
much
one
about
of the
Dragon
concerns
Age.
I did get was with Christian Daly leaving for Anthem 2.0, would we get the steady stream of content that he had been giving people? It hasn't happened yet, so I don't know if they're waiting for someone else to to hop in and do the exact same thing or not, or if they honestly might be at a stage where like, hey guys, the thing I told you about last month we were working on? We're still working on it. So, yeah.
And they could also be waiting for the Legendary Edition to be out and done and so on like that.
Because Anthem is going to distract people from Mass Effect.
Well, I mean
that's fair, but I also think some of it as well.
You don't want to overwhelm either the community.
Oh, no, I'm too distracted.
I'm not gonna say that's gonna happen. Mostly on the grounds of, from what I have, while there is a lot of overlap with a lot of like Mass Effect, it's just Mass Effect's that big of a franchise. I think there is a bit of a difference between like the Mass Effect community, at least at its core, and the Anthem community. I think there's enough separation there that I don't think it would be too much of a problem. But now, damn it, Minius, now that you bring it up, I am a little bit concerned for Anthem 2.0.
Yeah, they just haven't said anything in like a year.
Nah, don't be concerned. What do you
No,
mean in a
they've-
year?
no,
it was
it's-
like November 7th, right? N7?
I can actually
No,
confirm it's been much less than a year.
really,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
dude, this
Um,
year has been so long.
It was like in December or something when they talked about it.
No,
It's I can't give you official stuff off the top of my head because it has been a hot minute or two, but it's definitely been a year. Like all throughout 2020, Christian Daly was dropping stuff about Anthem 2.0. So it hasn't been like a full entire year.
So my issue is I did not care,
Well,
I mean, that's fair.
and I kind of care now. So I really, it's all on me, which is true.
Well,
I mean, that's 100% perfect.
yeah, and that's one thing I will say for a lot of the viewers at least to know is that some of these answers, it kind of does suck because you kind of have to go out and search for some of these answers, which
Yeah, that's not marketing, in my opinion.
that's
that's data mining. If you're marketing that way, you suck.
yeah, that's fair.
Unless your game is like, maybe if Cyberpunk did that, like that
Yeah.
could create some buzz, or like the next, like GTA 6 slowly put out that would work.
yeah,
But
I think
it's not going to work for the next Mass Effect game because, well, basically at this point, the only thing that BioWare EA combination can do is put out good games.
Yeah.
Anything else they do is not going to convince anyone at this point.
Yeah,
There's too many misses in a row at this point in the world, I guess.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they've had 2 misses. Which,
That's too many.
Yeah, I guess.
The Anthem one was bad.
Yeah,
I mean, at least, and of course, we're a little bit biased. Andromeda felt like it's an enjoyable game. It certainly wasn't up to the same level as the other Mass Effect games, and suffered by a comparison, and that really got away from it. But Anthem had so many things wrong with it, and it was just kind of thrown out there. You're like, oh no.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, the biggest part is like you can see the potential in Anthem.
Yeah, and that
Like,
makes
the
it worse.
Potential. Yeah,
I remember
exactly.
when Anthem was
It's
first
like,
announced, we were excited. Like that, the initial trailer for it was intense.
oh yeah, the initial trailer is intense.
like
The premise of it is really cool, but
there might be audio evidence of me being excited, but I don't remember being excited.
Nah, we were.
Mm-hmm.
It was you.
I don't know.
me,
You're
Bio
always,
fan.
you're excited when your dog rolls over. So fuck you, man.
I like to be
dogs
happy.
are adorable when they roll over. Don't give me that shit, Minius.
No, that's adorable. Getting really excited for it. You're like, dude, I've seen that before.
Well, yeah, but it did it again.
Okay. Thank you for confirming what I was saying.
Well, because it's like, hey, it did this one thing and it made me smile, and it did it again and it made me smile again.
So
I
we
like-
take
I like to feel good.
questions on the Discord, which is in the description box, and also at accidentallycasual@gmail.com. Want to go for some questions?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Aria wrote into accidentallycasual@gmail.com. He's got more of a hypothetical question. Let's say that Dragon Age 4 finally shows us gameplay footage, whenever it is, and it doesn't look good or not on pars with games that we currently have. Should a sole hardcore Mass Effect fan who doesn't like Dragon Age buy it just because the success would mean we have a better chance of getting Mass Effect?
No.
If you like if you want to try the Dragon Age games, by all means, go ahead.
I think you would need a large percentage of fans doing that to really make an impact, right?
I mean, not even that. Because I think people underestimate how big the Dragon Age community is. Like, it's a lot more sizable than people think. And the one thing I kind of find is interesting, at least when it comes to the gameplay aspect of it, Dragon Age isn't well known for its gameplay. It's known for its characters and its stories. So
I don't think the footage will matter that much.
no.
But the
I
main
think-
question is, just to answer it specifically, I don't think you should ever buy a game that you're not interested in playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Unless you like personally know the people who made it, or something like that, and are doing them. I don't think that's what you should do.
Man, you know how many times I try to get my friends to play games that I worked on? They don't work as an argument.
That's fair.
I was like, dude, I better not play that game that he told me about.
Man, that's like...
Jesus.
I don't actually think you've ever tried to convince me to play a game that you've worked on.
Well, I've been trying to play a game with you. I think it'd be fun.
No, I'm you convincing me to play a game that you worked on. I'll never remember you trying to do that.
Madden 19?
Have I played any of Madden 19?
I
can't remember the last Madden. I found a bunch of copies of like my old Madden games, so Madden 2002 and 2005 stuff. I got excited. That's really the last time I started playing Madden. So anyway, yes, I suppose if Dragon Age really fails commercially, it'd have to really, 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 really fail.
Well,
then
also,
there's
I
a
think
chance that Mass Effect could stop.
there's also one thing as well is that we also need to remember is what a fail in the community terms in finance, and then like what is a fail financially are two very different things. Like even like Mass Effect Andromeda made money. Same thing with Anthem.
I'm not so confident in that either of those, by the way.
In what?
I
Them
mean,
making money? They
Yeah,
made profit?
their language was so sneaky that they definitely didn't confirm it. They just made it sound like it, and that was all business talk. And yes, it's very possible they made money, but they definitely didn't reveal any numbers, and they hit them in there.
Yeah.
So
one of the things though that makes me very much realize that BioWare is in a decent financial situation is one because you have I've talked about it on this podcast before. You still have SWTOR, which is still making oodles and oodles of money after being one of the most expensive video games ever developed. And then their new building that they are in, they're in Edmonton, but they're like downtown Edmonton.
The size of the Edmonton studio is a lot bigger than it was 5 years ago. Put it that way. Right now.
Yeah, and
that's a good sign from that standpoint.
Yeah, and granted, I think some of that also probably had to do with
they folded some of the Montreal studio into it and
other
stuff.
And also it just might be as simple as a tax reduction of like, oh hey, you move into the studio, you won't pay tax. Move into this building in Edmonton, and you don't have to pay taxes for 5 or 10 years. That's super common.
I know Canadians really want people to move to Edmonton.
Yeah.
They tried to get my sister to move to Edmonton. Mm-hmm. She did not want to do that.
I'll move to Edmonton.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Unless you get a job at BioWare, then I would do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, Tucker, how much do you like the cold?
It doesn't bother me. I've also moved.
What about negative 10 or 20?
I mean, I'm
for
inside.
months on end. Are you sure?
Yes. I've also
have the
moved
problem
around
of
a lot,
being
so it doesn't
lived
bother
my
me.
whole life in California.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to any kind of weather in any temperature direction, I'm the biggest pansy in the world.
I've lived
like it's bad, and I was like we'll go over just a couple states over. I'm like, oh my god, it's 50 degrees outside. I mean, it's cold.
I lived in Connecticut, and where I lived in Connecticut right now has, I think, 10 to 12 inches of snow. And I've also lived in the desert in Arizona. Like,
that's kind of similar to me, but in Idaho, where it's like I was raised down in Boise, where it's like it'd be 110 for 2 weeks straight. But then I also would go travel to like Middle Idaho all the time, and during the winter time, and play in the Winter Wonderland up there. Yeah. So.
All I know is that Drew Karpyshyn specifically left Edmonton and Mass Effect to get the hell out of Edmonton. So
yep,
and he was born there, and that was his main reasoning. That's why he no longer worked on Mass Effect, because he left the city. I'm really gonna piss some people off, but it's all California in me, really showing my vulnerability to any kind of temperature increase or decrease. I could not handle it. Basically,
it's okay.
It'll be fine. Just have some like hot chocolate.
Hydro Cannon 58 asks, if they did continue Andromeda, do you think they would put work on a world generator like in No Man's Sky?
No.
I
don't.
First of all,
they tried to do that for 3 years and they couldn't come up with something good.
Yeah, that was the original idea, right? And it didn't work.
Yeah,
and not just that, but you can't. That would require a lot of reworking the engine. Reworking the game itself, the story, everything would have to be reworked.
Theoretically, I suppose this could be a sequel.
I mean, I guess, but I think the big thing that I think it's been pretty determined that no, Mass Effect fans, they like the hub worlds and traveling to them, but not necessarily per se like something like a world generator would work per se. I think that verdict's been out for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, if they go back to Andromeda, that would be the biggest shock coming out of BioWare, I think. But we'll see. I would be although they've surprised me a couple times in the last 6 months, so we'll put it that way. I do not know what I'm talking about.
BioWare does have a few things up their hat, so.
If you want to ask us a question, we'll try to get to a couple every week. You can email at accidentallycasual@gmail.com or go to the Discord and chat with all the people on there. I don't know what the hell I'm doing on there. I try poking my head in that. But the problem is I operate at the weirdest hours. So the conversations are all done when I'm ready to talk and no one's there.
Yeah. Well, if we get more international people and how,
I need Australians.
Yeah.
If you're Australian and want to talk to me, just post it in the Discord.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, join us on the Discord.
I know we have at least one guy from Australia.
Okay. Not just that, but a lot of things. Like, the Discord has...
I would move to Australia, by the way.
It has 50-something people.
Seconded.
The Discord channel has a decent amount of people just talking now in it.
Yeah.
There's always some sort of conversation going on, to which Seeker got engaged. I want to say congrats to her.
Woo! Congrats, Seeker! Your ring...
She posted a picture of her ring in the Discord chat, and everyone absolutely loves it. All wishing her good luck.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Also, some people post pictures of their pets. That's fun.
Well, you started that.
Yeah,
I almost posted a video of my bunny, but I'm not going to do that.
Do it.
Wait,
throw Conrad Bariner in there.
Do it.
Conrad Bariner escaped again the other day. It's a stuffed animal, and it keeps on appearing in other pictures. There's a video of him getting hit in the face with a baseball at a baseball game a couple years ago.
Oof.
Or actually, it was just last year. You're like, oh my God.
Ouch.
So right now, I'm running a tournament that a couple people are interested in. It's the Mass Effect Game Recommendation Tournament. We are still in the first round. We are on like our 12th pairing.
How are those looking so far?
Yeah,
you want me to break them down?
Rhetorical question.
I mean, sure.
I'm going to do it whether or not you want me to or not.
Sure.
So,
I said it was a rhetorical question.
Group D, we talked about last week on the show because it has Dead Space and Diablo that moved on. Alien Isolation and Elite Dangerous, which probably is a game that people should play. But then again, I haven't played it because I'm afraid. Because other players can steal all your stuff, and that freaks me out.
What game?
Elite Dangerous.
Yes.
Group E was the Banner Saga, Outer Worlds, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Vampire. I don't actually know how that's pronounced. It's got a Y in it. Outer Worlds and Red Dead Redemption 2 crushed it. Not a super surprise there. Group F, Fallout New Vegas and Ghost of Tsushima beat out Neverwinter Nights, interestingly enough, and Too Human. Neverwinter Nights, a BioWare game, going down.
Yeah.
Also, quite an old game.
Yeah, that's one of their older D&D. That's one of their older D&D stuff. So
it's one of the first three-dimensional ones, right? So it's wonky.
I think so, yeah.
I'm trying to. I don't have a lot of experience with it though.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, Group G, Fable 2, God of War, StarCraft, Knights of the Old Republic. Tucker, have you heard of a game called Knights of the Old Republic before?
Yes. It's one of those Star Wars games.
Yeah, you've heard of it for the first time a couple weeks ago, I remember.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's on Game Pass, I think.
Is it really?
Maybe.
Yep.
How did you not know what the game was in the first place then? You know all the games on there.
I just got the title of it mixed up with another Star Wars game. I knew what the game was. It's just like there's, 76 of them? I don't know.
Interesting enough, God of War is going to move on from the bracket. I think there's the question, this is a very subjective tournament where you're recommending games to a Mass Effect fan. So if there's a really, really, really good single-player game with story in it, that has an advantage over lots of other stuff.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Almost no one voted for StarCraft. It was one of the lowest receiving votes, which surprised me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's something that has surprised me a bit?
It could be anything, but go ahead.
Sea shanties have really picked up lately.
All right, Group
Yes,
H.
they have.
And
No, I don't want to talk about this. Group H.
Okay, moving on.
Alpha Protocol, Control, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars The Old Republic.
Man, that's actually a close one.
You know, and that is the closest poll so far. Actually, the winner was Star Wars The Old Republic.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, but it's close.
I personally would have gone for Star Wars Jedi for two reasons. First of all, single player game. Second of all, it's the largest hope for Mass Effect 5 or Mass Effect 4 that I can think of.
You think Fallen Order is the best for...
Just from a hope standpoint of EA making a single player story-based game. Because they hadn't done that in a while. And I'm like, dude, look at this. It's evidence that things could go well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially when you don't fuck up the marketing or the development cycle.
Group I. Detroit Become Human, which I refuse to play.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Origins, Heavy Rain, Shattered Steel. Someone voted for Shattered Steel, fortunately.
Thank God.
It was almost shut out. Was that you, Tucker?
Maybe?
To get the one vote? Because I don't know how Twitter voting works, but it got a vote and then the vote would disappear. I go like, oh, and then it got a vote and then the vote would disappear, but it ended up with one vote in the final, at least one vote in the final.
So
tally.
it just kept like deleting votes from it? I'm confused.
It kept on losing. It went from like, it was like, oh, it got 1%, and now it's down to 0 again. What happened?
Oh, well, it's other games getting votes. And
no,
it's just
but it was like literally 0%. Otherwise, it would give me like a 0.3 or 0.4. The official tally out is 0.6%.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
Group J, Baldur's Gate 2, Beyond Two Souls, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, and The Walking Dead. Who won that one? Just a guess off the top of your head, Tucker.
Walking Dead.
Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh.
But Walking Dead does move on to the next round, so.
Yeah. I was kind of guessing that Walking Dead would get some likes, just because...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was, I mean, we'll get a collection on next week's show.
There's another Telltale game, right?
I think the first round will be done by that point, so we'll have more interesting facts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there's usually one or two polls on my Twitter, Minius GC. You can check it out if you're interested. This tournament will get more interesting as it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to make some more. Really, it's gone almost exactly how I thought it would. Except I was a little surprised at the Fallen Order not doing as well. And very surprised that somehow Diablo 3 moved on from the first round. I did not see that coming at all.
Really?
I can see it.
I mean,
I can see it.
I didn't see that. I mean, I would not have guessed.
The story?
Yeah, I would say there's a really big story aspect to it, and the fact that Diablo is known for its
Diablo 3.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Specifically Diablo 3. I mean, Jennifer Hale's in it. So, that's something.
One thing, though, the problem was with Diablo 3 was not its story. It wasn't as good as, like, say, Diablo 2, but, like, Diablo 3's story was still pretty good. Especially, God, what was the name of the DLC? It's like the Reaper of Souls or something like that. That
sounds
DLC
correct.
was...
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Is it? Okay.
It sounds correct. I've played it and still don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I mean, that's the impact that game made on me. I'm like, okay. That's a game that you can turn on and you just turn your mind off and listen to a podcast or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The biggest issue was at launch was a lot of like the stability of the game, and then like the in-house or like the weird market that they had was all screwy.
That's one of my favorite ways to play games, is just kind of like have a podcast going or something.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, in one of the polls that's going on that's going to finish on later today, Dark Pictures Man of Medan got a couple votes, Tucker.
Hey!
Was one of those you? They got more than one vote.
Yes, one of them was probably me.
So you just vote. You vote on stuff to be a dick, but that might actually be a legitimate vote on your part.
Sure.
Okay. Fuck you.
You opened yourself up to that one.
I know.
So
It's partially on purpose. All right, so this is going to take probably another 3-4 weeks. Yeah, I have fun with it. It's real. I wish I could say it was more to just entertain me. That is the number one reason I'm doing it, is to entertain myself. But I'm glad if there are like 3 or 4 other people who are entertained by it, then I'm totally happy with that.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, I think this first round is going to be boring because
I tried very hard to get interesting matchups.
Yeah,
but it doesn't always like for instance, specifically stuffing Fallen Order and the Old Republic in the same bracket. That's on purpose, and they will meet Knights of the Old Republic next round.
Ooh.
So there'll be 3 Star Wars and God of War, which might mean God of War slips through because I stacked the bracket in a weird way.
That's true.
But 2 of the games move on, so we'll get the best of those Star Wars games moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say, though, I think it's going to be once you get further and further into the tournament.
I think quarterfinals, semifinals will start really paying attention.
Oh,
because they'll all be really good games. At this point, there are groups that I have played maybe 5 minutes of one of the games and haven't played the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I don't know how to properly vote on that. And that's kind of, I mean, this is all suggestions. The other point of this is to get, people to play games they haven't heard of before. And Tucker tried the hardest out of all of us to do that. So, bravo, Tucker.
Although I've been playing a lot of RTSs lately. Earlier,
yeah, you seem to really like those.
Well, today I was playing 2 RTSs at the same time, Rise of Nations and Stronghold 2, and I was just alt-tabbing back between them as I was gathering resources and moving things around. I alt-tab back to the other one.
The squirrel is strong with you, Tucker.
God, those games are so fun. I haven't played Stronghold 2 or Rise of Nations in a while, and with the
You ever try to beat a Korean in StarCraft?
Nah, I've never played StarCraft.
That reminds me like them doing crazy stuff with the keyboard.
Yeah, but they have a lot of actions per minute.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god.
One of my best friends growing up in high school, he actually did try to go professional in StarCraft, and he's part of the university team there. And he's like, nah, man, nah, you don't fuck with the Koreans at StarCraft.
South Korea shut down when StarCraft 2 came out? They took it as a holiday?
I don't know, but I would believe that.
A part of me wants to believe that.
And they had some sort of, how Blizzard StarCraft became South Korea's national pastime.
Yeah, I believe it.
There's
every time I'm dead in 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay.
I really like Stronghold 2 and Rise of Nations and stuff like that because they're the medieval ones. Age of Empires is on Game Pass, and getting a group of my friends, one of them who's played that game a lot, and all of us just kind of go together and play multiplayer against AI, as a group.
Yep.
Doing that.
That's fun. I like doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like doing that with a buddy on we used to try that on Total War.
Oh, the Total War games are so good.
Teaming up on and
we
were
games.
Usually on RTSs I'm hot garbage. And I'm okay at most games, but not on RTSs. My brain doesn't work that way.
I played chess since I was a wee lad. When I was 4 years old, I was playing chess.
That's not a real-time strategy game. That is a turn-based
strategy. It is a turn-based strategy, but you can use a similar type of strategy of feigning attacks.
Depending on the rules, you can take your time and think about it. That's the difference between that.
And
a real-time strategy.
I've done chess tournaments where we have 2-minute timers.
That's okay.
And you gotta go quick.
2 minutes is more than instant, though.
Dude, you start flying in that game because you got 2.
I'm aware of that. There are people I read an article about professional chess players who go into a tournament and they lose 15 pounds over the course of the tournament because they use their brain so much that it eats their body.
Chess was the only thing that would tire me out. When I was a kid, I would do soccer, I would do track and all that stuff, and I wouldn't be tired, but I would go and I'd do a 3-day chess tournament, and I would be just completely gone.
I mean, your brain uses more energy than anything else.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's why that myth of, you only use like 10% of your brain or 20% of your brain, it's at a time because you would pass out and die.
Yeah.
You used the whole thing.
My anatomy teacher, she would tell me, and mind you, we were in a giant lecture hall. I went to the University of Idaho, and like this is, it was one of the biggest lecture halls that we had there. And she said, like, whenever it was test day, just from people thinking that hard, it would increase the temperature of this entire lecture hall by 15 degrees.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Get those neurons firing.
And she said it was like, and the best part was she was like, no, this isn't like a weird study. Like, no, I have brought a thermometer in, and I've done this experiment for over 10 years. In every single time there's a test, the temperature will raise anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees.
I thought you were going to say something along the line of it smells different, which was going to be really unpleasant.
I mean, probably, with the amount of people sweating and just being stressed out, there's probably that bad.
I just like to think that...
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know. I have a terrible sense in smell, so I can't...
I like to think that it's a janitor that's just been playing a joke on her for 10 years. Whenever they're running a test, he just like turns up the dial a little bit.
Oh, that has to be...
That would be great. And then the janitor passes away, and she's like, "Are the people not thinking anymore?"
Yeah. Then she starts like having concerns of herself. Like, am I not doing as good of a teacher? Like, they're not trying
they don't
as hard
care anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
That
I love it so
is
much.
such an extreme prank, and that guy should not be a janitor.
I like
no,
pranks.
he shouldn't be.
I like coming
he
to
should
way
have his
too
own
smart to be a
prank
janitor.
show.
Although I don't know if I'm actually going to get to it in time, I have an idea for my April 1st video, and I've had it for like 2 or 3
Why
months
don't you keep
in
this
advance.
quiet and then ruin people's lives?
Oh, well, I mean, it's not like any of the previous ones where I made something about Mass Effect and whatnot.
I'm aware of that, yeah. I'm specifically not putting out a video on that date. Oh. Well, I mean, I'm not a dick.
Well,
I am a dick to you, but in general, I'm not a dick.
Or you should put out like a really serious video and have people wonder. Like,
no, that's exactly what I'm trying to
waiting
avoid.
it with anxiety of just like
that's exactly what I'm trying to avoid.
If I were to make a company, I would like start it on April 1st.
God damn it, Tucker.
I mean, honestly, it's all irrelevant. Like, when you start the company, it's just a date. Just put it on April 1st.
I mean, yeah, this is why you're never going to start a successful company, I think.
I also have no interest in that, but...
Well, that's fair. Are you guys ready for the Mass Effect Character of the Week?
Hell
Obscure
yeah.
Mass Effect Character of the Week. By the way, I feel really bad because somebody started me on this Tuchanka kick I'm on.
Yeah.
And I completely lost the email where they suggested the first one.
Oh.
And this is like the third straight character, and I'm eventually going to get to their character, but I don't remember who sent in the email. So if you send in the email with the character you mentioned on Tuchanka, please remind me. I'm sorry. This one is the Chief Scout of Clan Erdnot.
It's a lot easier to count their numbers once you blow some of them up.
Ooh.
I love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He says funny stuff.
That's good.
He says a lot, actually. He's actually quite informative.
Well, if he's a scout, you would expect him to be.
He's a scout. He's not really a scout. He's a Krogan scout.
What's the difference?
So they shoot people, and then they have an easier job scouting.
Fair.
No, I remember his dialogue of just like, it's just, they pretty much get into skirmishes. That's really about it. That's all of Krogan scouting is.
I always love in that one how mad all the Krogan are that Rex is trying to change things for the better.
Mm-hmm.
That's most of these are like, ugh, he doesn't want us to go wipe out civilians. It's like, yeah, I think the scout specifically says that at some point he doesn't let us wipe out civilians.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I think you're right on that.
If you have a recommendation, the best way to get it to me is accidentallycasual@gmail.com. I will get to everyone's eventually. As soon as I'm done doing Krogan from Tuchanka, because quite literally I rewatched that Tuchanka mission, and I can't stop thinking about Krogan on that mission. I love that.
How many Krogans are that in that group? Like,
I could probably get to 6, but we'll see what I actually do.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah, 6 or 7 that you can talk to.
Yeah, I mean, like 6 or 7, not only that you can talk to, but are legitimately interesting, obscure characters. Mm-hmm. Not just like some random human who's crying over his lost dog, which I don't think actually happens, but...
Yeah, I don't know where he pulled that one off.
It's a metaphor that I was thinking of in Mass Effect 3, like, the Reapers are attacking and they're destroying everything, but you stop and drop everything to go find someone's robot dog. And that side mission would make no sense. That's more along the lines I was thinking, like, dude, shouldn't you be working on something else? From an RPG standpoint, it's too desperate of a mission to really work. That's where that comes from.
Fair enough. Okay.
So this has been episode number 25 of the Accidentally Casual Gaming Podcast, and it's weekly. On Wednesdays now, but always at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 5 at night in the UK. Like I said, we got a Discord community. Check it out in the description box. We also take questions, topic suggestions, and Obscure Character of the Week nominations there or at accidentallycasual@gmail.com. We've also all got YouTube channels, and we do cool stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
If you want us on Twitter, I'm at Minius GC, Tucker is at Appy Tucker, Scott is at BioWare B, and we will be back next week.
Good boy.
See you next week.
Right? We are going to be back next week, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Is that going to be a thing?
Well,
Minius, this is like the 20... I don't know what. 25th time?
I'm doing this specifically for the outro.
Oh.
Borders. This is Tachanka. Our borders are determined by the range of our guns. We are what we are, human. If we didn't fire at them, they wouldn't take us seriously. Any hospital on Tachanka has to be built well enough to withstand a bunch of enraged Krogan. When an injury forces us to switch over to secondary organs, things get messy. Higher thought processes don't always transition properly. Blood rage, they call it. Ha! The Vorcha. They're just like the Varen, only they can use guns and don't crap on the floor as often. The Krogan are the only real members of the Blood Pack. Anyone else is just there to soak enemy fire.
This is not this. This is already going wrong.
How's it going wrong? We just hit record.
I don't know. I don't know.
Be optimistic.
Is anyone still here? Let me know in the comment section if you're still here.